Alright then. So, it's that time again. I was given keys to play a thing, so here we are. Admittedly, this is something I probably would have ended up playing on my own anyway. Another little bit to this, though, is... I guess you just would term this as just a simple hack and slash, really. Part of my brain keeps wanting to attach the roguelite label to it, but I don't think it fits. I don't think that that's actually really that much of a thing for this. But either way, neat little thing. All about your little team you see here, specifically the four human shapes you see there, not the dog. The dog leads the bunch here, apparently, but doesn't actually get directly involved as far as I had seen looking at it. Now, we're going to be playing solo, so it's going to be a little bit different than you'd experience playing it multiplayer, and I'm going to get into why before we get started. Not why this will be solo, that should be fairly apparent, based on the just simple fact of nothing really lined up, and there's only so much time you have before these keys, or not necessarily the keys themselves, but the offer expires, so. Had to get this in, and I could not arrange everything, so. Such is the way things go. Now, the difference between solo play and the online play, as far as I am aware, is in online play, each person controls a separate character independently. In solo play, you actually choose 3 of them, and you can cycle freely between them, which is a very interesting idea, and honestly, to a certain degree, I'm kind of glad I'm doing the solo, because I think that's actually going to be the more notable version to show people. Like, obviously, the thing they would want people to look at is the online, because that is what they probably market and balance and intend for more. But mechanically, I think the swapping is going to be very interesting. So I think that'll be well worth noting on its own. And of course, there's couch co-op as well. I don't know what the limitations are on that. I would presume that it's the same amount of players, but you would start to run into camera issues probably, much like many couch co-op games end up having of this type. But enough rambling about it, let's get in there. You have your 4 choices: Max Sparkles the healer, Dark Matter the striker, Supernova the tank, and Mercury the archer. As you see, we have the 3 slots there. You can also take a look at a basic idea what they do and what their main stat lines are. Like, obviously, everybody other than the healer doesn't really have much in the support category. Wild concept, that. And of course, your striker has the highest damage, tank has the lowest damage, archer has a decent balance between all of them. I'm gonna give the striker a chance here. The tank is probably gonna be necessary, and we're gonna bring the healer for very similar reasons. When I tested this briefly, I had more or less the same setup, except I had the archer instead of the striker. We'll see how that difference plays out. Every character has, as you see down here, a left click, right click, dodge, and an E button ability. And you just press C and V to switch between all of your characters. There is a slight delay, so you can't just like mash your way through and link it all up probably. But as you can see, you can kind of wend their attacks together as long as you time it decently well with the way their attack is. You also notice that as we're switching here in the hub, they're actually disappearing and reappearing wherever they belong, which is a neat touch. You know, adds a nice little extra bit of character. Unfortunately, because I tested this did skip the intro. Basically, we are here to deliver something to the bird planet, and we need to kind of keep that under our hat, because it wasn't exactly explained in the intro, but apparently we are trying to avoid some large government body looking for us. Oh, there we go, yeah, the Alliance. This is a concept here. We got a dog planet, a human planet, and a bird planet. The bird planet's tech is the lowest. Got our captain dog here. Fears water, understandably so. Water's scary. We have not seen our NPCs or our enemies yet. I'll quickly cycle through all of these, but I'm not going to read them all out right now. Also, relatable fear of being bored there. Okay, so Max and Dark Matter have been hanging together for a while. That's an important note to keep in mind for them. Max is the young, cheerful one. Kind of fits together with being the healer. Mercury, middle of the road. Fears her father, so that's probably... Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in there. Oh, yeah, that's an important thing to note since we're not going to be playing Mercury. She uses her blood to do a lot of stuff, or at least blood in general. I don't know if it's necessarily hers. So that's a whole thing to unpack. Fears scary games and movies. Interesting situation for the tank to have, but you know what? They gotta have a balancer in there somewhere. The shop is where you'll be spending the coins and meteorites and such. Oh no, the coins to get meteorites. Okay. There's also skins for everybody, it looks like. Not a lot of them? There's a few. And it would help differentiate people pretty nicely. Oh, okay, like a beta version of the outfits. Okay, that's always good to see. Not sure. I mean, they say right on them that they're decorations, so I guess they just get scattered around in somewhere, probably. Oh, right, yeah, we're delivering the thing to Grandpa Owl. So, you'll notice it says select game mode there. That's because there's more to it than just the basic story mode. There is also a horde mode. That's how I tested the audio and everything, is I did a quick little bit in there. And that's, I think, why my brain wanted to apply the roguelite label to this game. Is because of the way this works, because you get random upgrades every wave in this horde mode here. And I don't actually know how the story mode works at all. That's going to be completely blind. We're going into that together here. Because I did not touch this at all out of an interest in letting this be a surprise. And these I'll read. Our team has just reached Bird Planet to deliver some black market goods to Grandpa Owl and the bird people. But things don't always go as planned. We got difficulty settings, we got story, which is, I presume, the easiest, since it says not to worry about combat at all. Easy, which is slightly easier. Medium, which is what they intend for you to play on. Then hard, and there's also a nightmare mode, which has a drop rate attached to it, so there's probably a bit of grinding that can end up being a part of this game, if you so choose to engage in trying to get the highest end stuff. We're all familiar with how that kind of thing works at this point. And you have a ready up system, as usual for this kind of thing. In this particular case, we don't need to worry about it because we're the only one here. Drones can't be killed, but if you hide in the tall grass, they'll lose track. Okay, so drones are going to be an issue. I'll keep that in mind. I will not be reading all of this out either, because we're here to just move along pretty quickly. So, you can read at your own volition. Yeah, we'll see how well that works out. Yeah, that's expected. Immediately going for it. And I assume the distraction is going to cause a problem. I mean, that will change their mind, but maybe not in the good direction. Not everybody is interested in fighting. Got a very one-track mind on this kid here. Okay, so that's a targeted teleport. Keep that in mind. See, look, we're fast. We're real fast. You weren't paying attention. That's not my fault. Yeah, exactly. That's what he was talking about. I assume the idea here is probably destroy the dummy and then there might be a response. We'll see. So the dummies heal, so they can't be destroyed. So I assume that's just a reminder, hey, maybe you should practice before you get into actual gameplay. Oh wait, there's more birds to speak to. Good for you. Are you sure they don't call you the dumpling bird because you're shaped like one? You know what? I'm just not gonna try to figure that one out. We don't need to worry about that right now. We got business to attend to. Uh-huh. Panic. Oh, at least it's not them. Probably a completely different problem. You know, that really does have problem written all over it, doesn't it? Quite the entrance, though. Gotta respect that. Ah, okay, that's what the weird pyramid is for. So that the weird liquid hologram can speak to people. Good for you. You know, that doesn't really sound like a good thing at all. You know, at least they got to the point quickly. I'll have to give them that. Oh, they're just putting people in bubbles immediately. Huh. Well, I guess that's an easy way to move people around, huh? You just stick them in bubbles. Okay, they are just dropping meteorite right away. So, for being the fastest on the team, he really didn't do a very good job of stopping them quickly, huh? Everybody's all upset now because obviously the kids were taken. You are being invaded, yeah. This does seem like a you problem, but I presume we're gonna take responsibility here. Even though I'm pretty sure it's just a coincidence that we were here when these invaders showed up. Not like anybody else is gonna solve this. Now, the unique thing about our tank here is she can block. As you can see, holding right mouse is a block perpetually. Also a pull on that E there. Max, of course, has this spinning spirit companion thing. You throw this out and you can heal whoever picks it up. And I presume that'll heal or hurt depending on the target based on the plus or minus on there. We still haven't found a target to test that yet. Ah, that just opens. Found an epic meteorite already, so that's a good sign potentially. Now, it is worth noting, this game doesn't have an epilepsy warning on it right off the top. But something I want to point out in the settings that I forgot is there is a reduced flashing option. I do have it on. I don't know how significant a difference it makes. But based on the way my eyes tend to respond to things even without epilepsy concerns, I tend to turn on any kind of reduced flashing or such anyway. Because it just starts to bother my eyes after a bit anyway. Oh, there is a whole ability list here. Okay, good. And it's actually everyone's without you having to switch characters, so that's good. So let's see. Max slows things when he dashes through them. You can slap things with the spirit. You can charge it, which is going to be important to remember. You can self-heal with the orbs, which I would never have figured out without looking at that. And you can shield or weaken with the mark. And of course, everybody can sprint. Dark Matter has the teleport we talked about already. Regular attacks. Blade throw is how I teleport. And then, okay, you hit 3 enemies that are nearby, and you can interrupt attacks. Important. 2-hit combo, we saw that already. Okay, so yeah, it is only a 180-degree coverage, and it does break. I thought so, but I wasn't 100% sure. And of course, the pull is an interrupt. And since we're not going to see the archer, we'll go through these anyway. And hop around and power up your next attack. Chargeable, basic, long-range attack. The bomb was what initially drew me there, but it's actually a little funky to use solo. Because I kept having bombs laying around, and then the enemies would run past them before I have a chance to do another input. So you probably would need to prepare those ahead of time. It is nice that the arrows and the hammer can set them off, though. And of course, just a big old blood hammer. Because that's what you use your blood for, right? Making a hammer? That seems like a great idea. And of course, here's all your status effects. So there's actually a decent amount of. Alright, back to it. Since I presume that this is going to be relatively short, we're not going to go too deep into it, so that y'all have something left to play when we're done here. I may show up the horde mode. Oh, that's fantastic that I just realized. Mouse wheel also cycles your characters, so if you're playing keyboard and mouse, that will be a great boon to you, probably. That'll be a lot easier than hitting those keys. I do appreciate that everybody's dash works differently, too. Now, you may be wondering, where's the health bar? It's actually the portrait. The less color there is in the portrait, the more damage you've taken. So you want to just, like, periodically refill that where you can. Like that. So, it seems like healing drops regularly enough right now that I don't think I actually needed to bring max at all. But, for future, it's probably going to be important. All enemies cleared. Okay, so everything's dead. Wait. There was goodies hidden in the grass there. And you can cut the grass. Looks like you get money and health from that, so if you really want to sit there and dig for things, you can. We won't be worrying too much about that right now. But if I end up injured, I may actually go on a lawn mowing spree. Oh, a larger enemy. What's your deal? Oh, you've got a pull. You've got an anti-healer strategy, understood. No, none of that. Okay, the block does still count it even though it's a ground attack, so that's good. I wanted to know. Temporary empower. Cycle to dark matter. Nope, the health disappeared before I could pick it up. That's fine. Just chuck an orb ahead of us. There we go. Yeah, I'll be honest, Max probably ain't gonna be seeing much screen time because that attack set really doesn't interest me. But we already discussed the fact that Max was there just to be the survivability machine. If we get enemies that are much, much larger, I can definitely start to see where the epilepsy concern comes in from, since they make all the enemies flash. And that's with the reduced flashing on. Assassinate sounds like fun. You have fun meditating, but I really wish you could have done something helpful, but you know what? You do you. We found them. Really wasn't that hard to find. Well, you could have tried jumping through that gate a bit quicker. Those are words, I guess. think actually that's just really weird text, and it is actually still mostly readable. You just had to say something, didn't you? Now he's raised his shields. Okay, the shields crack like an egg, so that's not too bad. Okay, that's a cheeky trick I can do that I've just realized. If I burn my dash with somebody, I can switch characters and have the dash be refreshed, looks like. Because they're all different characters, so... if I need to multi-dodge something, I can. Looks like that shield's gonna keep recharging, so I probably should try to make this quicker. And thankfully, we're just beating the health out of him, so it's not really a huge ordeal. And since he's very readily stunnable with the lightning attack or the chains of our own, we can definitely keep control here. But, you know, he is also first boss, so one can't really expect too much difficulty right off the top. It would actually be kind of wild if they went real hard right off the top. And that's the end of that. May your corpse be forever shielded, apparently. Yeah, one problem at a time. Now the old man eventually caught up. Well, they went through a weird triangular portal to question mark. Yeah. Yeah, we're on it. We already have a bit of a debt to pay because of the way this fight started anyway. Oh, that's convenient that they just happen to be nearby. Oh, I figured that would have been like a stage completion, but apparently not. The stage continues. That's good to see. I was a little worried that the stages were going to be fairly short. I will say, I do think I may have been better off keeping the archer just because of having some range. But so far, I really am actually surprisingly meshing mostly with Supernova so far, control-wise. Missed it. Come down. Try to heal. Pick it up with the wrong one because I cycled wrong. But it's fine. We cleaned up just fine. Okay, you don't heal after encounters either, so I'll have to keep that in mind. We do have that healing effect that's on us, which looks like it carries over to all three of them in solo play, so that's good to know. Scoop up a... Oh, okay. Screen transitions heal you, then. Okay. That's probably why I thought we were healing on encounter initially. Just barely got her out of there in time. They've definitely upped the ante a little bit here. But I think that's mostly just because I keep walking through spider shots without really giving it any real thought. Joke's on you. You want to pull me to you? I'm coming to you anyway. There we go. Just need to actually use a little bit more synergy. Oh. So that's what happens when one of your characters goes down in solo play. They just go down like they would in multiplayer, it looks like, and you can just pick them up. On your feet, silly. There you go. Half health, that's honestly plenty. I'm assuming I can't equip any of these meteorites. Yeah, doesn't look like it. Not till we go back to the hub. Which, the amount of them we're already picking up is honestly a positive sign, I'd say. I'd rather have something giving you a lot of items to pick from, as long as they're meaningful, obviously. Like, if it's just like 7 copies of the same thing, that's gonna be a little disappointing. But to finish that thought, I would rather have a lot of items dropped rather than it just dropping like 3 items in this entire stage or something. Why are there just like 2 spiders out here? What are they doing there? Do I need them? I do need them. Alright. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of enemies just out in the middle of nowhere. I was advised that there are some bugs, though these guys don't seem like they're bugged, and since we only needed 5, it looks like the 2 guys that are out in the river don't matter. I thought my lightning was ready. It wasn't. And the cooldowns are very obvious down there at the bottom. I'm just focused up here instead of down there. Ooh, extra lucky. That sounds like it's exactly what I want. That is right up my alley. Yeah, we should be able to leave. No? No, there's apparently 1 I still need to get rid of, even though there was 2 spiders down there. So that's interesting. Can I get down there? It looks like I can just by going down this river. Okay, yeah, this is accessible. Not gonna lie, didn't look immediately accessible, but that's why you check these things. And it's just a haste benefit anyway. That is a little weird though. The counter over here on the barrier said 1. But there was 4 enemies over there. I guess maybe you don't need to clear all of them? And like that'll matter more later. You really are just naming things based on what you see, huh? She doesn't seem impressed. And of course, we're just getting relegated to the minion. We're not fighting her yet. Boss Froggy. Okay, guarding doesn't work against the acid puddles, which makes nothing but sense. He's excited about something. Ah, he's excited about charging and trying to murder me. You know what? Understandable. The music in this is pretty good. Like, not remarkable necessarily, but it does its job very well. It evokes the right ideas, while also keeping a decent bit of energy going. Seems like back attack damage is really what you're gonna want, but back attack damage also seems way more usable in multiplayer, which makes nothing but sense. Getting a little upsetting with how much of the field is full of acid right about now. Okay, that's not blockable because it's above. He's also immune to being stomped in that manner, which makes sense. I can't even hit him with the chains to do damage. I assumed he wouldn't be stunnable, but I was hoping that would at least hurt him. Coward. Actually, yeah, he can be stunned by the dash, so that's interesting, actually. That he's just straight up immune to the chains. Oh, no, it worked that time. I guess maybe he was just out of range before? Oh, third phase. Well, I countered him and then he countered me. I don't appreciate that. Oh, dark matter needs to leave. Suddenly, Froggy's getting serious. Ow. I was trying to pick up health. Speaking of, throw one of those. We'll just start working dark matter back up where we can. He is definitely our damage dealer. Okay, the happy dance hurts a lot. I'll need to keep that in mind. We've traded who's in danger, but that's okay. Okay, maybe it's less okay when I just eat one of those on the chin. Thankfully, we have a consistent health soak over here in the form of Max. Goodbye, Froggy. I think the cat will be sad, but you know what? You needed to go. Yeah, that checks. 42 for Dark Matter, or 78 for Supernova, nothing for Max. On the bright side, no deaths for everyone other than Dark Matter. And that's stage 1. Just under a half hour for one stage. That's actually pretty good. Oh, good. It's just an entire species of jelly beings. Interesting. Ring, ring. Of course, there's more trouble down at the bird planet. Yeah, I kind of assumed that they would have been a bit more aggressive after we attacked them. That just makes sense. Oh, okay. I assume those drones are gonna be taking away anybody they see, or probably just destroying. Either or. Oh, that's wonderful. They got a regular infestation going on down there. So let's see how our upgrades look. As you can see, each character has 3 independent slots. You know, you can also put 3 slots on the character who you're not using, which this is a 1 to 4 player game, by the way, so technically you could actually have all 4 characters in play in multiplayer. We're just losing out on one because of playing solo. Cooldown, movement speed, and absorption definitely seems like your bag. You want those. Ditto with this, because backstab damage is going to be something you're going to be getting a lot of. Crit chance and a luck boost. That's not quite as good as I was hoping for it to be, especially with it being an epic meteorite. You would think epic items would have quite a bit going on. And I guess it does, because it gives you 10% luck on every crit. Presumably that stacks? Okay, so it makes all of your cooldown moves slower. but it makes fire runes whenever you do use it. I think I'll put that on you. Also, oh, you have as many copies of these as you want. You don't have to pick and choose who gets them. That's kind of crazy, actually. On perfect block, deal damage. This was something I was going to address, and I got distracted when I was talking about the blocking. There is perfect blocking. I probably won't show it off today, because I probably ain't gonna land any, even though I was trying. But as you can see, there is a bunch of benefits to perfect blocking. Like, you can set enemies on fire. You can do an AoE slow knockback. Like, they already throw a bunch of benefits to your mechanics at you with these gems, which I appreciate. These are doing a lot more different stuff than I expected right off the top, which I appreciate immensely. That means there's actually some build variety potential here. Or even only going through stage 1. Okay, so absorption's not damage absorption, it's healing received. That's important information as well. Just pure power, pretty good. Ability power, freeze on perfect block. Okay, that could be pretty neat. We do use our dash aggressively with Supernova, so we'll take this Starstruck. Raises our ability power and makes our dash just drop stars on enemies and stun them. Because you could always do with more stuns, right? Right. Oh, Yep. Hang on, putting this over here. Where was that? What was that? Ruin, there we go. Stackable boost to your attack damage with every basic attack hit. You give that to the fast one and watch them go whee all through everything's health bar. That sounds exactly like what I would want. I do probably want ability power for you, because I assume ability power would stack with your healing? Question mark? Max health is also something you'd probably want, so you don't die. Swiftness also might not be a bad idea on the same logic of don't die. Oh, okay, there is also class-specific ones, like this healer one here gives regeneration on attack hit. That's actually really good. Because again, that lends a massive amount of survivability to your healers, which can be incredibly helpful. Because, you know, you want your healer to survive. If your healer doesn't survive, nobody's surviving. That just is over at that point. On slow field used. I think that's your... No. Yeah, no, his dash is a slow field. So yeah, that... It's just replacing the name of the thing. So you... If you know what your stuff does, it tells you immediately. It just takes a second or two to adjust information-wise in your brain. Actually, yeah. 30% cooldown for you? That seems perfect. That way you can heal more. We can also... upgrade these, which is why, of course, they had the levels there. I wasn't sure if this was gonna let me, like, merge them or do more than that. It looks like it's just purely leveling up the gems, the meteorites themselves, which is already a very big benefit. Okay, so the archer gets lifesteal as well. Obviously, all the block ones are tank-related, because the only one who can block is the tank. I do have to note something of interest here. They're specifically labeling these all by class instead of by character name, which makes me wonder if there is or was intended to be more characters at some point. Which actually, this hyper thing might be a better choice for you than Alacrity. Because that's movement speed and attack speed. The cooldown reduction would be nice to have. And this does give less movement speed, but I think, considering we have Ruin, I think the attack speed might actually be worth our while, as you can then stack the Ruin bonus higher. It's a more aggressive methodology, but let's be real, I'm always very aggressive with these setups. Still need a third thing for you, and if I'm not taking any of the perfect block stuff, maybe I just give you Rigor as well, so you have extra 50 hit points, which then makes this more worth upgrading. Though since this has crit chance associated with it, it wouldn't be the worst idea to give it to everybody. These two would want the health, and he would want the crit chance. And then it would be much more worth my while to upgrade it. You know what? You know what actually would be incredibly nice? A way to, like, melt meteorites you don't want down. That would be incredibly good. Because if for no other reason than to just clean out ones I'm not going to use and give me the currency to get an upgrade. Because it's looking like right now we're not really able to upgrade too much. We could either upgrade a green or a, either a common or an uncommon, basically. Which is probably going to end up being Hyper? His Rigor is rare, unfortunately. Otherwise, that would be the one I would upgrade, because 25 more health is nice. So I guess I could upgrade a couple commons. I'm gonna have to get used to the fact that I can put multiple copies around like that, though. This only giving 1.7% more doesn't feel the best. I assume... Yeah, it's because they scale based on their rarity a bit. Which makes sense, because the rarer something is, the more it costs to upgrade, so them being more beneficial at higher rarities matches up. Because, like, you get twice as much ability power out of paying the 180 here, for example. Then again, you do double the basic attack damage and crit chance on Sting here, but it also is going from 1 to 2. So, perspective. Gotta keep it all in perspective. There's also a world in which I just start stacking Treasure Hunter to the max to try to get the best benefits. Hey there, Rava, welcome in, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a grand day today. It's always good to see other dragons. I'm just working my way through this and figuring out what I'm doing. Excellent. I could upgrade Assassinate. It's unfortunate that it doesn't increase the luck bonus on it. Basically, we are for... I guess you could just call them adventurers for simple terming, because they're smuggling right now, but they're also trying to save this planet from an invasion, so they're... Heroes isn't entirely the right word, because the whole smuggling thing, but... they are helping this planet. But yeah, basically, our plotline up to now, we came to this bird planet to drop off some smuggled goods with the leader or nearby, and then they got invaded by these jelly people who took the kids from the village we were at, and we've decided to help them because they're an old friend of our captain. Our captain being the dog you see sitting on the chair over here. Mechanically, it'll make itself pretty clear, but you can probably guess what kind of game this is already looking at the numbers on the screen here. Now that we've finished arranging all of that, let's go ahead and go do the next stage. We'll stick to medium. Grandpa Owl calls for help as Poi and her deadly drones have ramped up the abductions of the bird people. Our team need to use the cover of the night to sneak past the dangerous drones. Ordinarily, this would be a 1 to 4 multiplayer hack and slash, but since I could not get other people for it today, we are playing solo, and we have access to cycling through 3 of the 4 characters, which is pretty handy. And we were warned in a tooltip that the drones are indestructible, so there's going to be a stealth angle to this too, apparently. Oh yeah, there's one of the alien leaders right now. Yeah, we're totally out of the way. Yep, Froggy totally took care of us. And And of course, he just charges off recklessly. There's always got to be one of those. Ordinarily, if I hadn't seen that tooltip, I would have immediately rejected the idea of just running from that. Okay, so that's how those work. As you can see, simple top-down hack and slash. Nothing too crazy, you just have a handful of abilities available to you. And you can cycle freely between the 3 that you have. So there's really only 2 that are going to be getting too much use since one of them is just a healer. It is a little unfortunate that Max doesn't have too much other than healing in his kit. Like that, the reach on that attack isn't too bad, but compared to the other 2, his damage just really isn't very remarkable. Okay, I can't teleport over ledges, so I'm gonna have to remember that. So those large symbols must have been the fire runes from the meteorite I put on. So that worked out well. That's a very potent effect then. Oh yeah, when you're stunned you can't swap, so that's going to be very important to keep in mind. It is a little weird that the drone's targeting isn't under itself. But I guess it is kind of like using a spotlight on it, more or less. So we just need to slip by while it's not looking. Ordinarily, you wouldn't be having any extra effects. Just the dash on Supernova here would be doing damage, but not dropping in those stars. That's again a meteorite effect. You'd be mostly reliant on things dropped on the map if you weren't actually using the meteorite system to equip extra effects. Which, there's probably actually plenty of ways to play this game without using the meteorites. But at the same time, they're giving you tools to use. You may as well use them. Wow, haste is really nice. We do definitely need to get Dark Matter healed. I already forgot that I got him really trashed. But it's fine, you heal after each screen, so it all works out. Obviously, we don't want to stand in bad. That will just lead to death. There's an Empower. What's your deal? Sure thing. Yeah, they will totally see your wrath. What are you gonna do? Slap them with a fish? Honestly, I would pay to see that. That'd be funny. Oh, I've been spotted. Okay, they just start firing missiles if they spot you. Understood. Thankfully, they don't seem to be very fast, even though they can fly. I got pulled into that one's line of sight. That was unfortunate. We're gonna have to take this a little bit slow. Yeah, just because we need to avoid that happening again. There we go. So can I destroy these? No, they are just as indestructible as the drones are. Thankfully, they don't do much damage, so what I can do... Yep, just block them. Hee. I don't appreciate the slowing field that these glob boys over here do. That's just annoying. Oh, there's a lot of them. There's so many of them. I am in perpetual slow hell. Someone, please send help. Just gonna disregard that drone for a moment. They don't really seem that dangerous. They're just kind of inconvenient. Yeah, that fire rune meteorite is ridiculous. I'm so here for that. Just exploding the whole room. I have to imagine that the effects in this game are going to get steadily more and more ridiculous, and that is fantastic news. Get back here. You cannot run from me. Well, you can, but you won't get very far. Oh, and that's why I was hunting them down, because you need to clear the room to be able to leave, and apparently I missed some. Grab all the currency, because we're gonna need it. That's how we make our meteorites better, and if we make our meteorites better, the game will just get easier. And I may actually raise the difficulty before we finish our little showcase here. See how that ends up playing. Totally only just realized right there that Dark Matter only had 17 health left again. A lot of bad things have been happening to him. But it's fine. As long as we don't actually die, it doesn't matter. So as we already learned, if one goes down, they can just be picked back up. So it's not really a big deal. It's just a mild inconvenience at the end of the day. And one could say I should practice perfect blocking more, so that we could use those mechanics. But when I'm just obliterating rooms left and right like this, why would I even bother blocking? Ignoring the obvious answer of it will help me in the future. Is the wise thing everyone should do that I never do is use the early game to learn how to play better rather than waiting till things are killing you to learn better. There's meteorite over here that I want before we go anywhere. I'm assuming I have to go around to get whatever that is, but I'm very interested in getting whatever that is. Yeah, it looks like there's a path back here behind the house. Yeah. Don't mind me, madam. I'm taking your stuff. You don't need it anyway. Was that overkill? Yes. Was it funny? Also yes. Oh, they destroyed the drone. But how? Tell me things. Ah, you're the rebellion. Okay. I definitely am interested to talk to you if you actually took out one of those drones that we can't kill. Those sure were words he used. Don't worry too much about it. Yeah, that makes sense that you're a lighthouse keeper as well. Ah, that actually would be a good spot to launch drones from, yeah. Good commanding view of the area. Convenient that you just so happen to have a hidden path leading there. I guess that's how you would be getting stuff in and out. Doubt that the fishing's particularly good when there's a war going on. But what do I know? I'm not a fisherman. Oh. Right, because the jukebox in the ship, I guess, yeah, you have to find the music discs then. Okay. I assumed it was going to organically unlock as you cleared stages and ran into more music tracks, but looks like you have to actually find them as collectibles. That's always a fun little hunt for people to do, so I'm down for that. Probably not something I would spend my time doing, but to each their own. Okay, even if I'm fighting, as long as I'm in the tall grass, the drone just doesn't understand. Okay. Keep that in mind for the future. Just always do all of my fighting in tall grass if there's a drone around. Well, honestly, dark matter is perfect for these situations, considering we can just teleport away whenever the drone's about to spot us. The dash probably works about as well on the others, but I wouldn't bank on it the same way, just because of the fact that we completely disappear when we teleport. Oh, you want to go? Okay, here. I was gonna save you for last, so I can get rid of the slowers first. I think it's tanking all of the mines that these guys are spawning with my face. That's why dark matter's been in such damage all the time. But thankfully, with all these shields we're finding, it's not really as big an issue suddenly. That meteorite damage is definitely helping. Because I'm not gonna lie, enemies in the first stage were taking a fair few hits. I was a little worried this game was gonna be a little on the spongy side solo. But it looks like with a decent setup, you're still cooking pretty good. Which makes this work out just fine. Because, you know, obviously the expectation would have been that this was scaled for the multiplayer. And I wouldn't have given them any down marks for that. But this is better. And I do want to remind everyone, as you can see at the bottom left corner, if you just put in that command, you'll get the store page for the game if you are interested at all based on what you're seeing. Though the bot will be spitting it out here in a couple minutes anyway. So if you don't feel like typing the command, it'll pop up on its own here in a moment. And more than likely, when we end this segment, I will probably print it out myself anyway, as I usually do. So far, it's a fun little title. I had this on my wish list for a good long while before I ended up getting the opportunity from Lurkit to cover the game. So one way or the other, I was going to end up playing this more than likely. The only reason I hadn't picked it up before now was I had intended on waiting to see if I could get people lined up ahead of time to play it. Because, you know, it's designed as a multiplayer game. Just makes sense. Okay. Forgot the whole you can't go over ledges thing with that. Yeah. Thankfully, they don't stay on you for long, so they're really not much of a threat. Yep. Ah, that's what you wanted the lighthouse for? Is a show platform? Okay. Nah, Froggy didn't do a very good job. I mean, direct, but yeah. So what's gonna be your deal? Oh, you just punch. Okay, you know what? I don't know why I wasn't expecting that to be the case. You kind of got, like, dance attacks, almost. Yeah, you just kicked the ball into my face. You're prepping something. I'm just gonna wait. Here, enjoy burning. That's for you. Actually, I should hit you with the weaken, because that'll help expedite this a bit. You know, that's nothing but upsetting. So you have your drones do carpet bombing while you hide up there. You know, the spotlights on the drones, though, suddenly make way more sense now that we see a bit more of how she does things here. Yep, you're gonna hide up there again and carpet bomb. So we'll just go over here. Block the worst of it. Because I could avoid this, but we can also just tank it, so why stress over it, you know? You know, that was honestly easier than Froggy was. And I think that was just because there wasn't an AoE death field around her nearly as much as there was around Froggy. We got a thing. Much more even distribution between Dark Matter and Supernova that time. And Max was there. Why is it saying difficulty story even though I selected medium? Huh. That's weird. Because we all saw me cycle to medium. That would explain why this has been a complete cakewalk up to this point. Okay, we got a weird jelly key. Or a remote. I guess that also makes sense. Presumably for the drones? Or portals. Yeah, I guess that would make sense too. So we go to the swamp, try to activate a portal. That makes sense. Let's have another look through our meteor collection. Looks like we didn't get nearly as many out of that last stage as we did out of the first one. While the ad's running, I'm gonna see about a thing that popped up. Ah, that's what popped up. Okay. Very good. Good for you. Completely irrelevant information to me, but that's fine. Yeah, since we've been going for about an hour on this already, I think what we'll do is we'll do a bit of the Horde mode, and then we will potentially move on. Because like I said, I didn't want to do too much of this at once here. Oh, wait. Why is this meter partially full? Oh, do duplicates... Duplicates might just automatically level something up. At least that's my best guess, because this is the only one that's got its meter partially... Oh no, these have partial fills as well. And none of them are things I'm using. Actually, no, because I'm not using ambush. And I remember seeing an ambush that I picked up. So that must be the thing, is you pick up more copies and it starts filling the level meter ahead of time. See, that would be a nice thing, is if it made the upgrade cheaper, the more of the meter was full. It's like, Energy Pulse has partial experience already, for example. So if this was like down to 120 instead of 180, I think that would be very good. But I also understand why they wouldn't do that entirely, because this seems like the only thing you use these triangles for. So if you make that economy too irrelevant, then it doesn't really matter. Or were the triangles for any of these? No, these are all coins. Which, you can buy these as well. $150 extra health. This is a bit silly. The fact that you can buy these is a little silly. Because these are just... Some of these are just flat better than the things we've been finding. Like, take this, for example, Conquest. This is way better than the health increasing one we have. And you get a bonus whenever you critically hit. So I don't know about this one. Like, at least this isn't real currency. This is just currency you're making in the game. But it is a little weird. Like, this alchemy one, for example, is also kind of crazy. The 1 hit point per second regeneration is nothing too wild, but the buff modifier and the absorption's pretty handy, and a random power-up on kill every 5 seconds. Sure, it says 10% chance to happen, but 1 in 10 kills is still a lot, because you clear out a lot of enemies in this game. And those power-ups have been pretty strong. I I do think early on that may be like a ridiculous power-up. Yeah, I think I'll show off the Horde mode for a little bit now. And then we will go on to the other game I was planning to do today. Because I'm enjoying this, but like I said, I didn't want to show off everything about it all at once. So that y'all have a reason to pick it up. We can also actually cycle through the enemies now, because apparently we got information on a lot of them, even though we barely even saw these two, because they just appeared in the intro. Then again, it does look like you gain information the more you encounter them. Like, we have a second update on Poi here. We only have update 1 on Zev and the Empress. Gigapud, we just have nothing about. That's just existed. And then Froggy had an update when we destroyed him. And then you got a little bit of info about all your regular dudes. Yeah, that's an accurate name for this thing, Zoner. Because that's what it does, is it tries to push you out of areas. Do I want to do anything with this? I feel like I probably should. Also, I see a couple more oddities. Like, you'll notice how whatever you have selected kind of overlays over the menu if you scroll down. That's a little weird. That's something they may want to have a look at. So I don't know how actively maintained this game is, because this has been out for a bit. Ooh, okay. Whenever you critically hit an enemy with your basic attack, you inflict malabsorption, which reduces their healing, and you stun them. That actually makes playing the healer more aggressively a lot more viable, if you can get things like that. Ooh. I definitely want to put Lightning Discharge on you. Just where? Probably in place of Assassinate? No. I think we'll just ditch Hyper for Lightning Discharge. Is a 15% chance on a hit to cause a Lightning Strike is gonna do ridiculous things for us, especially since we're building Dark Matter to attack faster. And we did just give up some of our attack speed for that. So that is worth considering that I did that too. But I do think it is going to be worth upgrading one of our little benefits here. Only a 2.5% increase chance on Lightning Discharge isn't worth the amount we'd be spending on it. But what's the other thing he had? He had Ruin, right? Yeah, let's go ahead and upgrade Ruin, and we'll upgrade Rigor for the other two. Because I think that's just the most bang for our buck that we're going to get. So now he's got a little more attack speed and power, and both of these two have more health. And crit chance, which I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about them having. The smarter play probably would be to replace Lightning Discharge with Rigor for the crit chance. But I like what I got going there, and I enjoy the idea of just striking things with lightning constantly. Off into the battle sim. We'll probably go through this till I die. And then that'll be an accurate showcasing of what the game's got to offer. As you can see, this is straight up just what it says on the tin. It's a horde mode with holograms. You just fight till you die. Which there is meteorite to be gained here too. And then at the end of every fight, you get to choose from one of these 3 buffs, which you'll notice you do have a timer, so you can't just muck about the entire time. I'm gonna take the move speed. As far as I can tell, it's for all 3 characters. It would probably be a matter of each person would go and pick the one they want, or it might be a voting system in multiplayer. I'm not sure which. Go. Another stage cleared. What do we got? Cooldown reduction, ability power, and more move speed. I'll take some ability power. The cooldown reduction would be tempting if it was higher than 5%. 5% really doesn't do it for me. I assume the upgrades are going to get better as the waves go further. Because I think I only went up to, like, stage 5 in testing because I just didn't want to play too much of the game. And, like, be too strong before we even started or anything silly like that. Yeah, that scaling attack power definitely is coming to play. Definitely the health. 50 health is actually fairly significant. Considering, you know, we have like 400, 300, and 600. Which, the fact that Max only had 300 health is very worrying, considering he has a health increase on him. That tells me that he had, like, no hit points to speak of at all, ordinarily. And yeah, our meteorites are definitely in effect, considering the fire that just happened there. Ooh, 12% attack damage, 18% ability power, 10% stamina. Stamina is sprinting, which I haven't even been doing. Let's take the basic attack damage, because that's half of what I do. More than half, really. Stage 5. Yeah, early on, I feel like I could just mash the slam over and over again and probably just win. And it does seem to heal you between waves, so that's good. That's actually very kind of them, because if you didn't heal per wave, you could end up in a real dire situation. Let's keep getting health, because Dark Matter just got deleted earlier. So, health is probably going to be a little bit of an importance to us. Especially since I'm not really trying that hard yet. Ooh, a copy of Assassinate. Always good. I do appreciate, even though it's silly, that I can attack them as they're spawning. Oh. Supernova went down. Okay, even if you don't pick them up, they get put back to full health. Oof. More movement speed, attack speed, or cooldown reduction. Attack speed. I do worry about the fact that we are just dropping so easily. That was 750 health that just disappeared there. Unless I took more damage than I realized, but I don't really think I did. I think I just took like a particularly heavy hit and just got eviscerated. There we go, just keep clearing them out. Nice. Easy clean out. We seem to be getting a multiplier, which is nice. But that's probably only going to matter for the leaderboard, and that's not something I'm going to be particularly concerned about. Ability power, stamina, or movement speed. Let's take some movement speed, because if we are dying as easily as it seemed like we were, some speed might be key. And honestly, it never hurts to go a little faster. Let's wait for them to gather round, and crush. Those purple shields they have are a little weird. I'm not sure how to feel about them yet. Mostly just because it seems like it makes a particular enemy just way more durable in a somewhat arbitrary seeming manner. Because, like, I can't see anything happening with the shield. Okay, so their health is still going down even through the shield, so I guess maybe it's a damage reduction thing? It's not actually, like, blocking, it's just reducing? I'm not sure. I'm not getting clear answers on that. Yeah, with the way things can just delete us, sticking more with the stuns we have might be the play here. Because those lightning strikes are just guaranteed auto stun. Yeah, one hit and dark matter here nearly got obliterated. Yikes. So I think I'm giving up on the concept of just getting more health then, because it doesn't seem like it matters. Ooh, yeah, perfect case in point right there. That hurt a lot. Go away. No, there was a lot of them there. Multiple may have hit me and I just didn't process it properly. His one downside to all the effects going off on screen is it does get kind of hard to tell what's happening sometimes. And part of that's obviously my own fault, and part of that is design. So, you know, grain of salt and all that to these statements, as per usual. But it is something worth considering. More attack damage. Remember, they can't hurt you if they're already dead. I don't know if I pointed it out much, but I do really enjoy the cartoony animations we have, like the lightning strike in particular, is a good example. Just seeing the classic turn to a skeleton and for a moment when you're being electrocuted thing. This does seem like it's trying to have Saturday morning cartoon energy, and it's kind of there, or for the most part. Like, it does feel slightly off of there, but it's mostly right. But I guess it would also depend on what cartoons you watched. And what era of that idea they're trying to go for. Because there's a lot of variation there. Like, even down to the music, that's pretty on target for that idea. Just keep chopping. I'm gonna die. Gotta go. Gotta remember that I have a slowing field of my own with the healer. Okay, 100 health is a lot more tempting than the 50s. Especially when compared to a 2.5% cooldown reduction and a 5% move speed. I can definitely see this scaling to ridiculous, though, and that might be a draw in and of itself, honestly. Just deny that attack immediately. Backstab him a bunch for free. Nope, missed that completely, but at least we dodged his stun. It would have been really embarrassing to whiff and then get hit. That would have just been nothing but a shame. Clean up the health so we stay in this. There you are. What do we got? Stamina, move speed, and cooldown reduction. I'll take the cooldown reduction this time, because we are getting in trouble now and then because our abilities aren't up. Like, obviously, the ideal would be your abilities are always up, but let's be real, that's asking a bit much. Much unless you built for that. And give Dark Matter a break, because he has gotten shredded again. And not in the helpful get buff kind. Things are getting more durable, though, which is becoming an issue. Like, I appreciate that the enemies are actually scaling and they're not just sending, like, dozens and dozens more of them to compensate for their strength issues or anything. On your feet. Come on, quickly now. will remain satisfying. Just blasting an entire pile at once. Let's get some ability power since we're starting to have some trouble killing. So I would have rathered that be like a similar percentage basic attack bonus, since we can rely on our basic attacks. I wonder if that purple shield is like just protecting it mostly from a specific damage type or something. Gotta remember that teleport slash hits multiple enemies. Get back here, coward. All the slowing in the world doesn't stop me if I'm that angry at you. That took a real long time for that to become a problem, the whole just ignoring the enemy behind me thing. There we go, that's what I'm talking about, 30% attack damage increase. We do have to remember that our basic attacks are not that strong. I don't think I can actually look at the numbers here. No, I can't. But we were getting like 5 or 6 from most of our meteorite benefits. So I have to imagine our main stat line isn't that high. Like, our backstabs are doing triple digits now. And that makes things like 30% a lot more viable. But with our regular attacks that we're doing just like double digit, 30%'s not as crazy as it sounds. It all, of course, adds up, but you gotta be a bit mindful of how much of a benefit some of those things actually are. Especially when people are just dying left and right at this point. No. Bad spider. Get back here. I'm glad he doesn't just keep pooping mines the whole time he's running. That would be very upsetting. Ability power, cooldown reduction, and stamina. Let's get a little more cooldown reduction, even though 5%'s not great. I do think in a similar case of what I was talking about with the attack damage, that the ability damage is only going to do so much. Especially in a case like that where the damage is not actually coming from the ability itself, it's coming from the meteorite. Which I presume would still scale with ability damage, but I don't know that for certain. Okay, looks like you might want to be a little careful playing this mode without having finished the game, because it looks like you're going to get bosses. Because we got the first boss here. Which, you know, that's kind of to be expected. They would have to put bosses in unless they make specific bosses just for this mode. So that went really poorly all of a sudden. Oh, and he got a lot of friends. No friends for you. No friends allowed. That was a bad exchange to make, though, considering it was blast a lot of them and die. He's also camping our corpses, which is upsetting. There we go. Let's get him stuck over there for a second. 'Cause I'm not as scared of his friends. I'm just scared of him, really. There we go. So I'm pretty sure his friends are what killed everybody, but shh, don't worry about that part. There it goes. As soon as his shield was down, it was over for him. And we did it. We got through that wave. Ooh, did not take me as long to get in major danger as I thought it would, though. Critical damage would only really help a little bit, because none of our characters have massive crit chance, as far as I can tell. Like, ironically enough, I think our striker actually still has the worst crit chance of the three. Because he doesn't have that big 10 and bonus that everybody else does. I said it before and I'll keep saying it though, this mode is satisfying. I could definitely see people whiling away hours with a group doing this. As with the horde modes of a lot of games. So it would have to, of course, be a group that's so inclined toward this type of thing. It wouldn't be an every group affair. There we go. 100 health, 20% move speed, stamina. I don't think the health's gonna matter, but I'm not sure I need more movement speed. We are outrunning everything at this point, after all. So I don't think that that's a huge ordeal anymore. Like, obviously, I could be using the move speed to be a lot more hit and run about my attacks, but I'm not super concerned about that. Like, if I was aiming to try to go all the way as far as, like, the leaderboard and such goes, I'd be a lot more concerned about how I was going about certain things. Like, you may have noticed, I'm not even really blocking much, so I could be playing way more careful and way more efficient if I'm really aiming to go higher. I'm just out here having a good time. We're almost to the 20th. Oh, we just got to the 20th stage, though. And looks like, yeah, it seems either every 5 or every 10 the values increase. But they're not, it doesn't remove the lower values from the pool, which seems to be the thing. Not 100% sure how I feel about that as a concept. But I guess it's to reduce the scaling so it doesn't get too out of hand. Which, from that angle, it's logical and fair. But it would definitely be nice. Nope, can't get that res off yet. There we go. While he's stunned, get the res. Nope, still didn't get it. He didn't stay stunned long enough. Okay, yeah, I definitely need to lure him away. I cannot pull that off with him there. He may very well just pull me away again. Yeah. I think I'm just not getting that revive off. Not this time. I also got to keep in mind that I have no invincibility, I don't think, while I'm doing that chain attack. Okay, missed the chain. Now I can do it. There we go. Yep, that lasted a while, didn't it? I was definitely mashing the dodge. I just didn't manage to do it in time. But he got some important damage dealt, so it worked out. Just wasn't exactly how I wanted it to go. You know, if it went how I wanted it to go, he'd be dead and I wouldn't be. Crazy idea that, I know. Keep missing the weaken. There it goes. This is a little bit smaller than it looks. Or rather, he's a little smaller than he looks, might actually be the problem. One of the two. 10% cooldown, 5% move speed, 18% ability power. Let's get some more cooldown reduction. At this point, I'm genuinely curious to see if we're actually going to see, like, the general show up that we fought. Because I'm pretty sure if that happens, I think it's so over. Actually, we haven't seen Froggy yet either. I was half expecting Froggy to show up at level 20. Like, have every, like, 20 or 30 be a major boss. But maybe that's just the thing, is, like, minor bosses will show up, but major bosses won't. Which makes sense, because the major bosses might rely on their arenas. There's too much to show up here. This would have been so over a long time ago if I only had one health bar to work with. Having 3 health bars helps a lot. Ow. There we go. 100 health, 5% attack speed, 10% critical damage. We already had the discussion about health. We don't need to have that again. Right now, honestly, my soft goal for this right now is to reach stage 30. If I can reach stage 30 first try, I'll be happy. Based on how this is suddenly going, though, I get the distinct feeling that I'm not gonna get there. Got the revive off. Get on your feet before they get here. There we go. Yeah, we only barely pulled that off. Nope, don't want to be there. See, I wouldn't want to be yet. Oh my god, they have so many shields now. No, 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 no. There's so many places I don't want to be here right now. Ooh. Yep. And that's why blocking's not really the strat, necessarily. Because there's only so much you could block, and there's a lot happening. I threw that the wrong way, but it's okay, we can fix it. Ran right back into that attack, but you know what, it's okay. Ow, 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 ow. I gambled real hard on that one. But I need this AoE to clear some of the clog a bit. There we go. Because as soon as we clean up a little bit, we can just start backstabbing the big guys like crazy, and they're not really an issue anymore. I just couldn't sit there and do that with, like, the spiders lurking about near them. Because that backstab damage is delicious. Just hard combo that guy. 200 health, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Suddenly I'm swayed. If we can break this quick enough and get that empower, that'll be huge. Wait, I thought that would have dropped an empower for me. Maybe that empowered them until I broke it? I may have completely misunderstood the purpose of those pillars. I get the feeling that's a distinct, wouldn't be the first time, wouldn't be the last time scenario. Look at me actually starting to block. starting to take it seriously now. It is interesting that the fire effect goes beyond the range of the actual ability using it. Lifesteal is ridiculous. But then again, I am like hyper aggressive and using very aggressive attacks, so it makes sense that lifesteal will be good for me. I really do think I'm getting low rolls on these upgrades, though. Considering we saw at least 130% in the pool at some point, and I'm not seeing them anymore, I really feel like I'm getting the short end of the stick a little bit. Get back here. No. Stop walking slowly away from my sword. You will die. Oh, there's so many. That is more than I had accounted for. This is danger. There we go. No longer danger. Yeah, it's been a bit since I got basic attack damage. We'll take it. A stat readout in this mode, though, would be nice. Because, like, the only stat we're really getting a direct metric for is our health. Like, obviously, we are seeing the results of our attack damage in the damage numbers a little bit. But they're varying quite a bit, so it's not really the most helpful numbers. And obviously, this may not necessarily be intended to be, like, a deep numbers game. And in fact, probably isn't. But it's just information that I would like to have in order to be able to do better. Risking it. Got away with it. We traded, but I traded up. It's fine. His supernova can at least kill a couple of them. Start regaining field control a little bit here. Did I say regaining field control? Because boy, did they take that away from me quickly, huh? Nope, I missed the prompt. There we go. Got two back alive again. Self-heal right quick. That cast rate on the heal is ridiculous. But I assume that's partially the cooldown reductions we've taken. Because it probably already was a fairly low cooldown, and now it's like a no second cooldown. Oh, I can throw 3 of them, I just realized. Oh, that is... I have been self-nerfing ridiculously here. Just because I didn't realize that those were all separate cooldowns. It is so over for them now. I have an even better heal engine than I thought. Oh, come on. Stop it. I'm bringing him back, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. This may turn into this doesn't end until I let it end with that much healing. Or they start one-shotting me. One of the two. 30% attack damage, you say? Okay. Deny you your nonsense. God, this guy is so tanky now. Ooh, we are, however, not so tanky. Thankfully, we technically are immortal, just because of the amount of healing we can do. Okay. Nope. Get rid of him immediately. Clear the chaff. Oh, that's some delicious haste. Movement speed, stamina. You know, that is a lot of stamina. I do think stamina really is only for sprinting, which I haven't even been doing, by the way. If I even bothered to sprint, I probably could have avoided needing to get any speed increases at all. So imagine if stamina has like a hidden factor to it, where like it actually impacts your dash cooldown or something. Well, this is an awkward scenario to find ourselves in, huh? I have a plan, though. Throw the healing orbs here, and now we stand here. Oh, God. Never mind. Guess who forgot the pull exists again? I'll give you a hint. It's the guy who's dead on the floor now. Max died twice, and that's all it took for the run to end. Still, we lasted a half an hour or plus there, and we killed 447 enemies. Not too bad for somebody who barely has played the game. That's a fun mode. And we got us quite a few more meteorites. Or at least I thought we did. Doesn't look like we actually got as many meteorites as I thought. We got a lot of money, though. Like, we got 5,000 coins. Just to play with. Shred I don't think we had before. That's a new one. Area effect damage every 3 seconds on basic attack hit. That could actually be crazy good for you to use. Fire runes are good. I think we can get rid of Starstruck. As fun as that dash thing was, I don't think I use it the way it would be useful to be used. Not that I'm going to be following up on this right now, but I'm just, like, theory crafting for a second here. Or as one last bit of thought in this game. Okay, yeah, Shred just increases the attack damage by 1. So that's not super impressive. Rend is also a similar case. The only thing I really would wish for in this game otherwise is just an additional meteorite slot. If I could just fit a 4th meteorite on any of them, this game would be so over. I could do such ridiculous things with just one more slot. Which is, of course, exactly why we don't have one more slot. But just think about it, though. Think about the power. Actually, Flame's Rage might be great for you. 50-50 chance whenever you get hit that you just make a fire area. And it gives him yet more hit points to survive with. Marathon could also be kind of nifty. But yeah, that is how Go Fight Fantastic looks as a solo player. As you can see, completely playable. Quite good. And for those so inclined, there is the link right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and quickly swap us over to our next port of call for the day. And I'll have to do title swapping and everything, so just bear with me a moment on that one. I may end up knocking the audio out for a second when I boot this, because I did adjust the audio, but that doesn't mean the audio was adjusted enough. we shall see how that plays out. And I will go ahead and turn off the Lurkit timer and such. Though, interestingly enough, the timer did not work today. So that's weird. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. Is it's supposed to go every hour, and clearly, with us having been into nearly 2 hours and the auto timer did not kick off, something's wrong. What? I don't know. But like I said, I'll figure that out in the off time. Get that booted. Just the text so that the Lurkit mention is not there anymore. Okay, yeah, I was right to turn the audio off for a moment, because it does that thing where it doesn't realize the audio adjustments immediately on booting.